people already self-censor on digital platforms such that they don't get deplatformed. So if you're someone who relies on YouTube to make your crust and run a business, well, surprise, surprise, you don't really want to fall foul of YouTube's community guidelines because you can't make any money any longer. It's like, okay, well, that's going to start happening across the entire internet. And I'll stop sharing screen at that point. It's like, well, hang on a sec. So every single time someone goes online and they want to investigate any idea or thought or requirement that they have, they are able to obviously access the entire globe's knowledge through a smartphone and supercomputer in their pocket. But every time they have something that they need, the government is asking for their identification. Oh, we'd better double check that you're not doing anything naughty before you go and do any of this stuff. And the threat that is about to literally be enforced is, oh, you did something naughty, 150 grand. Oh, and the company that allowed you to do something naughty, they're going to get a $50 million fine. So they're not messing around. And I think that's what really just fired me up so much. Like, what a surprise. What a surprise. So, oh my gosh, of course, the teenagers, we must protect the children. Let's censor the entire community so that we can look after, in theory, a small group. This is, what's the right way of saying? That's collectivism, straight up. And what you're starting to see here in Australia for sure is socialism on the rise. Like there is no doubt about that. The average person is being so downtrodden by the volume or the pace of inflation that nihilism is on the rise. How do you even own a house? People are drowning in debt, and the government's obviously getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. In fact, they're a huge employer. Okay, that's interesting. So why would you vote against the organization that pays you to live? Misalignment of incentive is so huge, and it makes me very scared. Like, so hang on. So, okay, if you're now going to get an environment upon which people are self-censoring at a massive scale in order to toe the line, that is a very real impact on public discourse. And why would someone want to go out there and have a contrary opinion about something because it's going to cost them 150 grand? That's absolutely wild. And what does it mean? I mean, I'd love to get your thoughts. So, send me an email, hi@jakewoodhouse.io. Is this something that you support? Is it something that you think is outright terrifying? And what are some of the ways around this that, inevitably will pop up? And I think of the example of this crazy period in Melbourne where you were being asked to show your papers everywhere you went in relation to your vaccine status. So it's like, have you had the first shot? Oh, you've had the second shot. Oh, you've had the booster shot. And if you didn't show them, then you weren't able to access the services or the products of whatever the business was that was supplying them. And this went to extreme lengths, right? Trying to get into aged care homes or, people who are sports players weren't allowed to play in the team unless they got it done. Of course, a very, very healthy black market popped up almost immediately for fake papers. It's like, hang on, no, I'm not doing that. And of course, it was very difficult to police in reality because, how do you say, oh, that's not a real document? The person on the door is completely untrained. They don't even really know what they're looking for. The business is under pressure anyway because people are so stressed they're not spending any money. And of course, there's ways around it. Now, am I advocating for breaking the law? No, but I have a very, very healthy. I'd like to debate anyone about this. Essentially, is this actually a good thing? Do you support this? And this seems pretty insane. Hello, maybe it is time for some kind of, Ayn Rand inspired Galt's Gulch, where you can just go and hide from all this madness. The productive sneak away from the common collectivist madness and sit somewhere where they're completely undetectable and build a future in which, no one can stop them. And to me, this is getting more and more important, right? Who is actually in your direct community? Who can you rely on for your food? Who can you rely on for your water? How are you going to educate your children? Where do you go if all hell breaks loose? And I don't know the answers to these in a form that I'm super pleased with at this point. So I've got some work to do. But either way, yeah, love to know your thoughts. I am instinctively extremely dubious of the net benefit of any kind of legislation like this. And it's pretty clear, right, that the road to authoritarianism is, well, we're heading there full steam. It's as simple as that.